Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Theodore, and thank you so very much for joining me today. So let's explore Aquarius moons. If you are an Aquarius moon, if you were born with the moon in Aquarius, this video is for you. If you are a seeker and a learner of truth, an astrological enthusiast, an astrologer yourself, a healer, maybe you're on the path to healing, this video is also for you. Now, Aquarius is one of those complicated signs. It is the second to last zodiacal sign before we conclude the zodiacal story in Pisces. Because the zodiac wheel is one story of human evolution and spiritual evolution, of course. But it's the story of our humanity. It's the story of our life cycle. It starts with Aries, the birthing of identity and self, and ends in Pisces, which is the culmination of all zodiacal signs and the full awareness of all zodiacal signs and the immense weight that comes with that. And I can't wait to do Pisces moons because what I just said is very profound. If you really think about why Pisces moons are so sensitive, it is because they deep down know everything. They can feel everything. Every zodiac sign, the entire story as we go around the wheel. There is deep memory and sensitivity. That is why they feel so connected to everything and everyone. But also the 12th house for Pisces is very, it's a very dark place. It's the unconscious. It is beneath the subconscious. It is the spiritual realm. It is the place of isolation as well. So there's a lot of darkness that comes with Pisces, but at the same time, so much spiritual openness and creative openness and intuitive openness. But right before Pisces is Aquarius, which is the ruler of the 11th house. And the 11th house is about collective endeavors. It is about groups. It is about humanitarian ventures. It is about the collective story. It is about connecting on a mass level. So after the 10th house, house of career, we go into the vision of not really what career is, but it's the vision of humanity. Like, what is the supreme vision of humanity? What is the supreme collective ideal? What is it that we need to focus our energy on that is more important than myself, that is more important than marriage, for example, or more important than even my family? Now, I'm not saying any Aquarius moon or Aquarius sun or rising has family issues, but I can tell you right now, I feel like Aquarius moons have this innate drive to be independent. They see the world as their children. They see the world as their parents, or they have this greater vision that I must embark on something that is important, or there are important things in this world that need to be dealt with, or I'm an artist and this is my passion. This is more important than anything, and my art has a message that I wish to share with the world. Aquarius is also a very eclectic energy. It doesn't want to be a part of societies and structures, even though at the same time it tries to change them at the same time. So it's not like they're anti structure, society, institution, stuff like that. But Aquarius energy are usually the ones that are passionate about getting involved with them or even changing them. And Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. And in modern astrology, Uranus. Saturn is structures, discipline. Saturn works hard. Saturn has a vision that takes time and patience to build. Saturn is father time. Aquarius is ruled by this energy. So Aquarius can be a little cold. There could be a coldness, a distance to an Aquarius moon. That doesn't mean they're warm. That doesn't mean they're not warm. That doesn't mean that they're not accepting or compassionate. It just means that in some relationships, they may seem maybe a bit distant at times, or people may be attracted to them that can't necessarily be vulnerable with them, or they just seem to have issues with partners that don't go beyond a certain point. So maybe an Aquarius moon will attract people that they wish could go further, but really it doesn't go past friends, or there's just a problem with stability in relationships. So Saturn, who wants stability, and the Aquarius moon really craves that in a way as well. As much as they want change in the world, or they have grand visions of the future, or they just have these, unique ways of wanting to be involved, or at least in their brain, they have an idea of being unique and how to change something in society, or how to advance this new project or startup company, or how do I get involved in government and really make change in the world, or how can I make my artwork stand out, and what message is my art really going to, how do I come to my art, and what does my art do for me? And how does this art represent something in the world that's important? And there's a seriousness to that. And there's a seriousness to how they would like to have relationships. They crave stability in relationships, but at the same time, it's very hard to find stability in relationships. When they're ready to have a stable relationship, usually the world isn't ready to give them one. And when they are not ready for a relationship, sometimes the world tries to bring them a stable one. And then there's this constant back and forth. Because Uranus rules Aquarius, I feel there's a lot of sudden, abrupt things that can occur with an Aquarius moon, which has its pros and cons. I think in a pro, flashes of insight, inspiration, creativity, and just inventiveness can be very profound and come at the most opportune times or inopportune times. Uranus can also make the Aquarius placement, Aquarius moon, very rebellious. Someone who does not want to follow the pack, wants to change the pack. So again, Aquarius moon, Aquarius energy doesn't mean like you won't want to work for like the government, for example. But why you want to work for the government is not the same reason a Capricorn moon would want to work for the government. The Capricorn moon would want to just add more structure and add more, because that's also ruled by Saturn, would want to do things a little bit more to the book and not really change so much. It's not a trendsetter, Capricorn moons. They want to just be as effective as they can at the structures already in place, where the Aquarius moon would still get involved with that same business, right? But they're the visionaries and the ones that are more passionate about, okay, how do we change some of this so we can be progressive and move into the future? What could we do to make this better? Or what do we need to collapse and destroy so we can replace and come up with a new vision of something. And that's an artistic mind. So as we head towards Pisces, that artistic energy, that air, that chaos from the air energy with a very, very strict planet like Saturn, with Uranus, you're dealing with an incredible, just incredible minds. Because the moon is what? The moon is our mind. The moon is our emotions. The moon is the part of us that will never change. It is just the internal workings, how we input data, how we even express, ourselves to a degree on the most personal level. Because an Aquarius sun, for example, is the ego that we must, or you must fulfill. If you're an Aquarius sun, it is the energy that you're not used to really, but it's the energy that sort of gets grown over time throughout your life, and then is your destiny to become that, right? But the Aquarius moon they have this energy. You had this energy your whole life. This is just part of who you are. Where an Aquarius sun may have a Pisces moon, and the idea for a Pisces moon to do again, maybe that's probably two amazing placements for incredible inventive artists. Artists that just completely blow open the lid in originality. But again, there's something that would take time, for that Aquarius to kick in, is my point to that. Or the Pisces moon might be really sensitive and insecure, but that Aquarius sun, is the destiny of, okay, the collective is going to be transformed by, the work of the Pisces moon. The sensitivities of the Pisces moon. But Aquarius moons, guys, there is a profound revolutionary nature about you. You think in revolution. And if some of you don't understand really what that means, or what I'm trying to say is, there's a revolution that we each have the capability of bringing to our life. We all have the capability of revolutionizing our life, which means transforming it to a degree where we can become the hero in our own story. But Aquarius moons have a mission statement to move throughout their life being as unique as possible, to be as free as possible, free thinking, free thinker, right? And not like Sagittarius, because Aquarius is more just I want to say more mental, meaning there's a lot more mind energy going on in comparison to a Sagittarius moon. But there is a kind of a link, because the Sagittarius moon definitely is a seeker of truth, definitely wants to know the truth, and doesn't necessarily attach itself to dogma, even though it will explore dogma, at least to get to the bottom of it as, okay, well, that's BS. Where the Aquarius moon wants to just pave its own way, wants to do things on its own terms, does not care if it's alone, does not need a group, because it wants to maybe start its own group. So they're very, very powerful leaders, Aquarius moons. They think like a leader, but a leader that has a vision of something bigger than itself. So I like to think Aquarius moons aren't very selfish people. They're very visionary. And because of that, it makes them a little radical. Radical in thought, maybe even radical in emotion. So sometimes Aquarius moons have to be, they have to kind of check in with their emotions because they're an air sign. So sometimes air energy doesn't really attach the mind to the emotion. Sometimes it's way too much mind. But that mind is brilliant. And that mind has stuff to do and stuff to learn. And societies and structures may not necessarily suit the Aquarius moon, which is why they want to either buck the system, maybe they want to be anti the system. Because again, even if you take the anti approach, which I wouldn't even say is a shadow side, depending on who you are, sometimes your goal, your mission statement in life is to be rebellious, is to be nonconformist, right? And by doing so, you might inspire other people to be that as well. So in a way, you sort of are creating a group of an anti-group, right? Or an anti-establishment. Like, so there's definitely some of that energy in there. And we don't have to go as far as that, anti-establishment stuff, but there's just an originality and a uniqueness and an inventiveness to the Aquarius energy. And that's really where Uranus comes in. But Saturn is the focus, right? Saturn is the, I'm willing to sacrifice my love life for this thing. I'm willing to not see my family, because I have a goal in mind, or I have something that I'm very passionate about. Like Cancer moons I would like to say that they either crave a home and a family, or they're very close to their family. Like family and their roots is very important. An Aquarius moon may be like, hey, mom and dad, I'm leaving, let's say that they were from like California. It's like, no, hey, I'm moving to New York and I may never come home, or I may be home just for Christmas. Because guess what? I have stuff I need to do in New York. I want to be an artist, or my art's doing well. I have a lot of stuff I need to do, so I'm not going to be home. I have a life to live. Aquarius moons have no problem, for the most part. And if they do have a family, this, that, and the other thing, they're very engaged with collective things or worldly things. Maybe, even stuff involving journalism or the media, social media in this day and age, so just being very focused on getting the word out to a lot of people, or you being just very interested in that kind of mental exploration, right? Like someone who's just super good or super interested in social media, or just is very interested in what's going on in the world. But Saturn is a very interesting planet to rule Aquarius, because to me, Saturn really just represents the seriousness of an individual, like the dedication to an idea or a profession or an art form, a dedication to a lifestyle, so yeah, like I know a girl, or I used to know a girl who lived in Brooklyn, and I think she was an Aquarius moon, and she had a big heart and loved a lot of people, but she never really can find love. It was very hard for her because the people she would attract, and that was the problem. Like, it wasn't she didn't want to love, or she wasn't ready to love. It was just people she was attracting were very non-committal. Like no one wanted to ever commit to her. And I would tell her, this is part of your karma, at the moment at least, because you have a mission to still fulfill in your life. You need to, really keep your goals and your authenticity. And she was sort of an artist. And And the thing with Aquarius moons is they have to realize that sometimes in their life, their deepest relationships are going to be with the ideas and visions and work they do. And that's where Saturn comes into play, you know? And if they really work with their Aquarian energy and really follow the impulse of all the things they've been interested in their life and whatever is going on in their life, you know, they are extremely good at grabbing the information, the skill, the talent they need and making something super unique. They have a very unique way of going about life. And if you're an Aquarius moon and you feel like, oh my God, this doesn't sound like me, I'm sorry. I think astrology doesn't lie. You can look within yourself and find something. You can just examine your life. There is something extremely unique about the way you think. There's something very nonconformist, very independent, you know, and not like Aries independent. We're talking something more unique and rebellious and against the grain. But this doesn't have to be some macro crazy thing. This can be like if you were an Aquarius moon and you're like a mom or a dad. This can just mean that you are like one of those super cool moms or dads where you are just really unique in some way. Like you're not like the average soccer mom on the block, you know? Like that's the kind of vibe an Aquarius moon can give. Or you're the kind of mom that will allow your child to watch like a cool movie that maybe the soccer mom won't, you know? So that kind of energy, like I'm going to break the barriers a little bit. I'm going to do something that maybe most moms won't do. And we're going to watch a movie that maybe you should watch when you're a little older, but we'll do it now. And I'll explain, and I'll explain to you, what this movie's really about, you know? So again, guys, I don't want to go too long here, but I hope you understood just a chunk of what Aquarius energy and Aquarius moon energy can represent. And again, just a reminder to close this off. The moon energy is what makes us feel safe and secure. It is how we think. It is what brings us comfort. So what can bring the Aquarius moon comfort in that last example with the mom being like, a little edgy with the kid, or her child, it brings her comfort to know that she's showing her child something that maybe she shouldn't, but at the same time, she knows it's okay. But it's almost like, hey, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of the realness of the world, here with this movie, because there's some content in there that's a little, nothing. I'm not saying anything risque or crazy and stupid, guys. Trust me. I'm just saying, we've all seen movies when we were younger that were a little too advanced for us, and but also very like important films. And Aquarius, that can bring the Aquarius moon comfort, knowing that it's doing something a little outside of the box, right? And they get off on being different and unique, or having just a vision of the world, or a vision of something, or a vision of themselves that just kind of goes a little bit off of the normal path, because they're here to make change. You guys are here to think differently, like Apple's slogan, think different. Just completely, you're like the Apple computers in the 80s, right? That's what Aquarius energy is like. Some of you guys may be too young for that, I don't know. But yeah, guys, I hope you understood this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Also, remember, check out everything in my description box below. If you would like to book a reading with me, if you would like to purchase any of my pre-recorded classes, because I am indeed a teacher, all that stuff's down below. Please have fun and go explore. All right, my friends, well, that's all I have for you, and I will see you in the next video.